So these next videos will make you question everything. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Now, how did I miss this? I watch a lot of football, y'all, a lot of football. But I missed this whole incident with a Kansas City Chiefs fan. How he was smeared all across the news and everything. Let's check it out.
Last night, we told you about the most famous 9-year-old in America, a young Kansas City Chiefs fan dressed up for a game against the Raiders. All he did was...
I can already see where it's going. This is a kid, bro. I can already see where people are about to take this. This is going to be bad.
Chiefs fan dressed up for a game against the Raiders. All he did was everything that diehard fans do. He painted his face, threw on the headgear, and went to the stadium with his family. No different than what you see every weekend in Arrowhead and Vegas and Pittsburgh. But male Karen at Deadspin only showed half his face, the black half, and accused the 9-year-old of wearing blackface. Quote, he found a way to hate black people and Native Americans at the same time. And the media piled on.
The kid is still in full racist garb. The only part of him that's not intentionally kind of racist is the black part.
First of all, what happened to kids being off limits, man? You know what I'm saying? If you're going to deal with something, you deal with the parents. The kids is off limits. And this is clearly a kid at a game. You know what I mean? I didn't take no malice from it. I didn't on the initial. So what are y'all doing? This is a problem we have.
The rest is team colors, and he's going for just being a fan, but the racism is already in there, just not the kind that the right is picking up and flogging Deadspin with over a 5-year-old kid. Like, the stupidity of this is remarkable.
5 years old.
It feels like we're in the Vegas residency phase of, like, racism.
And that guy, Dan Lebitard, who accused the 9-year-old of racism, wore the exact same face paint on his face last year. There he is. That's how ridiculous this story is. And the blackface hoax gets even more ridiculous the more we learn. Here's the 9-year-old Chiefs fan posing with the Raiders cheerleaders. Do any of them look like they think he's racist? I only see smiling faces. And when the young fans started a tomahawk chop, the Chiefs players joined in.
Don't none of the players seem to have an issue. You know what I mean? They're up in close and personal with them. They can see them. None of them are saying anything. Did any of the players speak out about this? Like, who had the nerve to make this a thing?
I'm just having such a hard time keeping track of all this racism. But it gets even more ridiculous. The mother of the young fan is saying her son is Native American. It turns out Holden Armenta, the 9-year-old getting slandered, has Native American blood. His family lineage, the Chumash tribe.
Oh.
They hail from California, an ancient people with a rich history on the Pacific coast. Holden and his family used to live on the Chumash reservation. So if anyone's entitled to paint their face and wear a headdress to a Chiefs game,
it's him.
It's Holden. Here's Holden at the Super Bowl last year. Holden can wear whatever he wants. And Americans can wear whatever we want. We agree, and Kansas City agrees too. It's why the
Who raised y'all? Who raised y'all? That's what I need to know. You know what I mean? That's what we ask people when they do dumb things where I'm from. Who raised you? Who raised you? That's what we got to get to the root of. Who raised you?
Chiefs fans are planning to wear black and red face paint to the next game to show support for Holden, who's not only a proud Kansas City Chiefs fan, he's a proud Chumash Indian. Let's bring in Holden Armenta and his father,
man.
Bubba. So, Bubba, what was going through your mind the second you found out your son had been targeted like this?
Rage.
It's been a lot. It's been a pretty crazy couple of days. I was mad, upset.
As you should.
For him. Mad that he's upset. He's pretty devastated. I mean, he's seeing the videos and everything posted, he's excited. He's all over. It was his dream to get on the Jumbotron. And I've had family and friends call and, oh, we saw you on Sunday Night Football. So he's excited. But then everything else came up, and it's been a little bit of a spiral.
Now, as a parent, I'd be enraged. I think kudos to this dad for taking it and handling it the way he's handling it. Because most parents, it wouldn't have been no talking for most parents. You know what I'm saying? So for him to have and maintain his composure, salute to him for that. Number two, look what y'all just did to this kid. I hope they didn't ruin the game for him, the experience for him. That's what it's supposed to be about. A kid showing up, dressing down for his team. I wish I could get my sons don't care nothing about sports like I do. And I try not to force it on them. I wish they would have this, man, what? To be able to go to a game and enjoy that with their son, and now to have it ruined to where now you're worried about whatever it is he's gonna wear to go to the game to appease other people.
Holden, how are you feeling right now?
It's okay because a lot of kids at school are getting excited, but it's starting to get me a little nervous because if they go a little bit overboard, it's a little scary.
I bet it's scary. It can be a very overwhelming experience. How has the community been in terms of support?
Okay. So far.
Good. And you're a football guy, right? Don't you have practice in a few minutes?
Yeah, we're getting ready to head out the door for all-star practice.
What position do you play?
Wide receiver and free safety.
That's amazing. And how big of a Chiefs fan are you?
Really big.
And what does it
Because
mean?
we went to the Raiders Chiefs game last year, too.
Nice. And what does it mean now that you're feeling all this love from Chiefs Nation? Everyone's going to be wearing red and black on their faces next Sunday.
Really good.
So, Bubba,
he asked me 10 minutes. He asked me 10 minutes ago if he can paint his face before we go live.
I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He's a great patriot. He's a great American, and he's a great fan. And everybody loves Holden. But Karen over at Deadspin doesn't. Bubba, would you like an apology? What would you like from Karen at Deadspin?
You know, I don't even know what to think about that. It's a little too late for that.
Whew.
The damage is already done. It's, worldwide. Now there's comments all over. There's, disrespect towards Native Americans and towards my family. We never in any way, shape, or form meant to disrespect any Native Americans or any tribes. The tribe we're from doesn't even wear that type of headdress. This specific headdress is a novelty piece. It's a costume piece. That's exactly what we had purchased it for and wore it for.
So he purchased it either online, Amazon, in a store somewhere. Did y'all have that same energy for the store or Amazon or whomever was selling it? Did y'all have that type of energy for them as well? I'm just saying, man. We all have, a lot of us have little Holdens, you know what I mean? That just want to go out and enjoy life. But look at us, come in and ruin it. Come in, kick his ball across the court, over the fence, to beat your chest. Come on, man. Y'all corny and lame for that.
Not in any disrespect towards any Native Americans at all. And it's been a whirlwind of comments coming even from other tribes, from tribal members. Some think it's okay, some think it's not okay. It's a 9-year-old boy supporting his team.
Thank you.
And you're going to be wearing the black and the red in I guess, every Sunday for as long as you're alive, I bet, Holden.
Yep.
Forever, huh?
Who's your favorite player on the Chiefs?
Patrick Mahomes.
My Eagles beat your Chiefs a couple weeks back. I mean, you guys did beat us in the Super Bowl, but I think we're going to see you again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That'll be good, huh?
Now, if we're back in the Super Bowl together, the Eagles and the Chiefs, you want to have a little bet, Holden?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do a bet, and if the Chiefs win, you're going to get something very special, and if the Eagles win, we'll figure that out. How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right, can I get a chop? There you go. Holden, Bubba, we love you guys. Good luck at practice. Good luck for the rest of the season until the Super Bowl. How's that?
Thank you, Jesse. We really appreciate the opportunity tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is facing pressure to speak out after a fan at Kansas City Chiefs game at the stadium over the weekend was spotted with black paint covering half of his face and wearing a Native American headdress.
Some Twitter users, however, noted that the article from Deadspin erroneously stated that the fan was wearing blackface. That was in the headline at Deadspin. Users on Twitter pointed out several fans in attendance noted the other half of his face is painted red. So this is another one of those kind of viral.
And this clearly goes to show you how people can just see something. They're just looking for something to go run and write about, run and tweet about, run and just cause commotion about. Seen probably half of the kid's face and just ran at that point. Didn't look, investigate, look further, wait till the kid showed his whole face. Nothing. Just was ready to go tweet and report a story.
Social media controversies. The Deadspin article is, crazy in my view. It's headlined, "The NFL needs to speak out against the Kansas City Chiefs fan in blackface." Again, it's a little boy. Like, he needs to be denounced by the NFL. He is not, committing the very appropriate wrongdoing of, darkening his skin to mock black people, which is a historical trope, but is in fact, wearing the colors of the team. The other side is red. It's just not, it's not the same thing. Yeah, so the Deadspin article does address some of that. It does say, so here's what they say. They say, here's some unanswered questions that are raised by this shot. Why did the camera person give this fan the attention? Why did the producer allow that camera angle to be aired at all? Is that fan a kid, a teenager or a young adult, despite their age, who taught that person that what they were wearing was appropriate? So I do think that the focus is a little bit less on the kid and more on the decision of the camera operators and why media is the people. Camera operator opening him up to the criticism of exactly what we're about to do?
Well, no, I think it's a little bit different. So I would say that fans are going to fan, and people are allowed to, write, let's say, a vulgar message on their chest. And you would expect that if someone wrote, eat S-H-I-T, Eagles, that the camera would choose not to put that on national TV, right? It would be considered to be inappropriate. They might get some kind of FCC strike. You can't curse on TV, and you wouldn't zoom in on a sign that said something inappropriate. Now the question is,
tell that to Pat McAfee show. He dropped some bombs on his show. But anyway, back to this.
On TV, and you wouldn't zoom in on a sign that said something inappropriate. Now the question is, if we believe that is the case, is the decision maker, is the camera operator or the producer of the show making a different kind of decision? Is this a reflective of their values and that they think this is appropriate? And then if you abstract that out more broadly, there's this bigger question that the NFL and other leagues have been dealing with for a long time, which is whether or not it's appropriate to have team names and mascots that are Native American people. So all of this is kind of like a nesting doll of concerns that I don't think, to the extent that people are mad or focusing on this little boy, I agree that that's wrong. And it's clear that he's not doing blackface in a traditional way of what blackface means. But I don't think that quite gets you out of these bigger questions about the league's obligation to deal with these kind of messaging issues around their mascots.
Sure. I mean, it does. There was a recent controversy that got covered at Reason while I also work of this this boy at a middle school who had on the black. His entire face was not covered with black. He had like the black kind of war paint look, which is a sports thing. It's just a very different thing. And he was suspended from school because of it. Actually, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression defended him as well. I cite them a lot lately, pointing out that he can't. This is legitimate expression, not political expression, just expression, and you can't punish him for this. It was a public high school. So there's a lot of conflation. Like over time, I think some media critics, some of these sites like Deadspin have taken a very broad view of what counts as blackface all of a sudden that is not based in like historical reality and is just like looking for people, usually kids, to be mad at. So that was kind of...
That's a problem. That's a problem, bro. You know what I'm saying? Using a kid for anything is a problem for me. Period. You want to do something, you go talk to the parents. And first and more importantly than anything, you better make for sure you got your facts right. You better make for sure. Because I know it had to hurt people to realize that this kid had Indian in his blood. That's the thing. Like, you don't even know the person you're talking about and putting this article out. Used to be in journalism, right? Wasn't it important for you to get sources and information and all of this type of stuff? Do your research before you put it out? Wasn't that the important part? Or you're just reacting to it? And when you do that, I mean, you see
the backdrop as this was happening. Obviously, there are some people who think the Chiefs logo and the headdress is offensive and is not what they should do. Obviously, other teams, sports teams, have pivoted away from Native American names and imagery and that kind of thing. It's like people can make up for their own mind whether they're offended by the Chiefs name, that kind of thing. But
yeah, the Chiefs.
And that's the part that the commissioner, Roger Goodell, should be, because the people are the most important to the brand of football, right? So he should have communication and speak to and take in the concern of the public as far as it comes to the team names and different things like that. You know what I mean? If it's offensive to people, then yeah, that should be talked about, sat down with, discussed. People brought in, create a panel, have the discussions, all of that type of stuff, and take the necessary steps to move forward. We see what the Commanders did, right? They were once Washington this, and now they're what is it? Washington Commanders or something like that. So we saw them do that. It can be done. But when you run out and you just ridicule a child like that, what good are you?
This is rough. I mean, look, I understand growing up with a franchise and you're committed to it. My family's from Cleveland. We've obviously just shifted to the Guardians. Everyone seems kind of okay with it. We're here in D.C. The Nationals were, what before? The Redskins. Yeah, the Redskins.
They were the Redskins.
I mean, like, I think the Nationals isn't as good a name as the Guardians, but that's for D.C. to work out. Picking a bad new name.
The Commanders.
The Commanders, yeah. So that is what it is.
Were the Senators before, I think?
Oh, well, that's an upgrade.
That was changed it out a while ago.
But, people are going to have their subjective opinions about that. I think we all have to acknowledge that our attitudes to that kind of iconography, and don't they do like that, like tomahawk chop? That's one of their cheers.
So they've stopped doing that.
Small blessings. It just doesn't sit right with a significant portion of the country the way that it did 50 years ago. And you can argue that, you can debate it, but I kind of think that ship has left the station and this is where we are. And so if you want to be appealing to the broadest possible audience, and this is what it's all about, right? Advertising dollars and making money for these franchises, they're going to make decisions that are in line with that. And I do think, whether or not it's fair, there are gonna be these little backlashes when your camera operator. Also, they kind of did this kid dirty, only doing the one side of his face. Like,
That's
but when
the
your
thing.
camera operating makes those kind of production choices, you're gonna get backlash. You can't silence, like you can't repress people's speech.
Just don't.
So either you don't care, double down, and everything's fine, and your team is your
all these
team.
very bland names because everything is so on PC. It's gonna be only animals because that doesn't.
Well,
it's
in
not
Cleveland,
controversial.
the Guardians, there's a bridge that you go over that leads you right up to the stadium. That's kind of big and majestic and like Art Deco. And there's two figurines like guarding the edge of the bridge that are the Cleveland Guardians, and they're a landmark in and of themselves. So I actually think it's kind of fitting and really nice. And because of like the physicality of, they're literally like looking over the stadium, and it's kind of nice and historic.
I don't know. I think we're headed to what is it from Community, the Greendale human being. That
Well, come
terrifying
on,
man
I mean,
mask.
most sports teams don't use Native American names, and the Cowboys, the Patriots. I mean, there's a lot of options out there that aren't.
I don't know, but where does this? What about the Vikings? Is the Vikings offensive? The Minnesota Vikings.
If Vikings
pillage people
who don't exist, if Vikings who don't exist think.
What do you mean they don't exist? Well,
The
they're people
contemporary
of Well, they're
Vikings?
people of Nordic descent.
Sure, if the descendants of
They're
Vikings
just not going around being
say
offended.
it's a problem, then they can. But I also
I would
think
laugh
that
at them.
the first Native American.
I would laugh at them.
I think the reason like Redskins went before, let's say, Chiefs, is because it wasn't just Native Americans. It's not just the Seminoles. I mean, there's teams that are named after.
Oh my God. Bottom line is, if it offends somebody, let's address it, see how we can proceed forward and move on. You know what I mean? You sitting here and trying to dwell on it. No, you present it with an issue or a problem, you hash it out, you figure it out, and then you proceed forward with the best course of action. That's it. You know what I mean? If it offends somebody, then let's try to fix it so it doesn't offend people and move forward. That's what it is. You know what I mean? The problem lies is when you know and you don't do anything about it. But if you're actively trying to do something and fix it to appease the fans who ultimately buy the tickets, who come in and ultimately purchase the food, pay for parking, and do everything else, buy the merchandise, yes, you have to appease your fans. They're driving this thing. They're watching it at home, which is also paying these owners. So you listening to them, you're communicating back and forth, you're fixing the problem, and you're continuing to move forward.
After peoples, it's Redskins.
Okay, all right. I'm not fighting over Redskins.
So
it's a little different.
Vikings,
And also it's the skin color. And
Celtics. And
Chief is a position, like a commander
Sure.
or a captain or
Sure.
a, you know what I mean?
Sure. So I think the Chiefs might have.
And the headdresses are cool looking. Like no one can wear one just because a group of people historically in this country wore them.
You can wear them. As this kid, no one was arresting him and hauling him off. This is in Ireland. It's not illegal yet to wear a headdress.
Yeah.
And I support his right to wear one. But I also think, I'm sorry,
just cool and fun.
you have to be willing to
Doesn't mean any harm.
deal. You have to be willing to deal with the backlash. And I don't not wear a headdress because I think it's illegal. I don't not wear a headdress because I don't think they're beautiful. I choose not to wear a headdress because I know that there are some people in my community that are going to be offended by it, and it's not worth it for me, and I don't want to offend them. They have experienced a lot as a people, as a community in the United States of America, and it's just no skin off my back to just avoid wearing a headdress. So that's the balancing test. The kid can wear one, and the parent can encourage him to wear one, but that's between them. That's their own parenting choices.
All right. That was our debate on this subject. You can weigh in.
Hey, my thing is, what if the article would have came out and not referenced the kid and just been like, hey, we have this, we saw this, how can we address this? You know what I'm saying? And try to take it that, at least take a step to try and attempt to leave the kid out of it and address the issue instead of the person. That person was a kid, so now it goes further and beyond the whole situation now. You know what I'm saying? And now you have this. But y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this whole video and ordeal of this situation. How did I miss this? I have no clue of how I missed this whole situation as much as football as I watched. But as y'all can see, man, I be consumed in my own little world sometimes. So stuff like this get by me. So we have to double back sometime and check it out. But I'm interested to see what y'all got to say. It's your boy L. Till the next one, I'm gone, man.